How's it going, everyone? It's me, Lone, and let's talk about backpacks in Fallout 76. Now, before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much for the support on my channel recently. I mentioned on the community tab that we've been gaining subscribers for the first time on my channel for a very long time. Like, I was losing subs for over a year, I think it was, and that was on me because I wasn't uploading and I wasn't able to. I totally understand that, and people weren't subbing, you know, you can't blame them for that. But with the regular uploads coming back, and especially with 76 content, it's amazing to see the channel return to almost the stage where it was before. I think like we're almost at the stage where I've regained all the subscribers that I've lost in the past year or so. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. I mean, as always, the goal has been to reach 100,000 subs on this channel, and now we're actually in a state to do it. So if you enjoy the content, I would really appreciate a subscribe. Thank you so much to those of you that have subscribed already. But with all that out of the way, let's talk about backpacks. So I have started to build up my non-power armor side of my character in Fallout 76, and that's for many reasons. I think one of the main reasons is because when I get out of power armor, I feel so useless because I literally have not focused on any non-power armor pieces of armor, or you know, special points, or perk cards, backpacks, anything like that. So I am now starting to build up Secret Service armor, and I will make a video on that later on once I'm in the position to. And I've also started to build up my backpack. That was one thing that I never needed in power armor because it doesn't apply when you're in power armor. But now that I'm trying to build up my non-power armor side of my character, I decided to get a backpack, and I'm getting mods for my backpack. And with that out of the way, I want to make a guide that is kind of a 2020 guide on backpacks in 76, how you go about getting one, and the best ways to get Possum Badges to be able to unlock all of the modifications for the backpacks. So that's what this video is for. I hope I cover everything. If you have any questions or anything like that, as always, I'm happy to answer them in the comments below. But with all that out of the way, let's get to the backpack guide for Fallout 76. Alrighty, so we're in game in 76, and let's start with the basics. What do you need to do to get a backpack in the game? You can get a small backpack through a much easier method, but I want to show you how to get the proper backpack because of course it's better and it's way more beneficial. To do that, you need to complete the Order of the Tadpole Quest. To get to that quest, you have two options essentially. You can go to any station in the game. I believe any station has it, but for now I'm at Grafton Station. And you go to one of the walls and you can read or interact with one of these Pioneer Scouts recruiting posters. When you do that, it'll direct you in the game to the Pioneer Scout camp. You can essentially just head straight there if you really want to, but I'm just showing you the optional first step. So let's head to the Pioneer Scout camp and talk to one of the Mr. Handies there. Alrighty, so when you spawn at the Pioneer Scout camp, you'll spawn around here roughly. And what you want to do, I'll just kind of give you a brief look at the area. You want to head over here to those buildings over there. One of them has a terminal where you'll be doing a lot of exams on that terminal as part of this quest. But you want to essentially, let's just clear out these enemies. Hello. Dead. Dead. There we go. Oh man, my aim is atrocious. So now let's talk to Scout Leader Jaggy. Now I've done this already, mind you, but to begin the Tadpole Quest, you want to talk to the Scout Leader. Again, he's located in between these buildings and right next to the Pioneer Scouts Knowledge Exams building. Oh my god, just leave me alone. I just want to show them the quest. Alright. So, talk to Scout Leader Jaggy, and you'll begin the Order of the Tadpole quest line. Alrighty, so as part of the Order of the Tadpole quest, you need to do 4 things. Now, 3 of them are really easy and really straightforward for the most part. The game's going to tell you where to go and exactly what you need to do, so just go to your Pip-Boy and follow those instructions to a T. I will explain them for the purposes of this video, but just know they're pretty straightforward. You should get through them with no issues. So the first bit is called kindness. What you need to do is just revive someone in the game when they're downed. It can be a teammate or someone random while you're doing a quest, like an event with someone that gets downed, but you just need to revive someone. So that's step 1. Alrighty, so steps 2 and 3, you need to complete the helpfulness and bravery parts of the quest line. Again, the game's going to tell you where you need to go. Before this video, I'll tell you that you need to complete Operation Tidy and Stings and Things. These are 2 quests quests which eventually become repeatable, but for now you just need to do them to progress in the quest line. To be able to do Operation Tidy, and I have it written right here so I don't get it wrong, what you need to do is speak to Scout Leader Pompey at Kitty Corner Cabins and then just complete that quest. And then to be able to do Stings and Things, you need to talk to Scout Leader Treadley, who is located at Dolly Sods. To show you them in the map, Kitty Corner Cabins is just here. So there's Vault 76, there's Kitty Corner Cabins. I'll kind of zoom in there. And then Dolly Sods is on the right side of the map here. Not the lookout, the wilderness, that building there. You'll travel there, and in that building you'll find the Mr. Handy to be able to talk to, or the scout leader. Again, the game's going to tell you where you need to go. I don't even need to be showing you this, but just go there and complete those quest lines, and then we'll do step 4, which is slightly trickier. Alrighty, so now for step 4, which is called growth. This is absolutely the hardest bit of the quest line. It gives people the most trouble, so I will spend a bit of time on this to explain the things that I think you should be doing to complete it as quickly and as easily as possible. But just know, if you're having troubles, that's totally okay. It gives a lot of people some issues. So what you want to do for this part is to gain at least 3 Tadpole Badges. And to do that, you need to complete 3 Tadpole Badge challenges. And to find these, what you need to do is press start, go to your menu, head to challenges, and go to the world tab. And then when you scroll down to T, yours will look a bit different to mine, mind you. You're going to find a bunch of these Tadpole challenges. Now remember, you don't need to do all of these to complete the quest line at least. You just need to do 3. So these ones I haven't even done myself. The 3 that I did, I'll show you, are Athlete, Codebreaker, and Swimmer, because for me they were the easiest. I am going to go through all of these and pick out the ones that I think are going to be the easiest for most players. It of course will differ from player to player, but I will go through each of these and give you some general tips and advice. But just know that these are the 3 that I did, so if you want to do the ones that I did, do those, but I will explain from top to bottom. So let's do that. Alrighty, so first up, for each of these Tadpole challenges, you need to complete a knowledge exam, which, as I mentioned before, is located in this building here. All you need to do is open it up, head to this terminal here, just use it, and you'll find the required exams or knowledge exams for each of those Tadpole challenges. So you head to Tadpole exams, of course, and you'll see all of them here. For the challenge that you want to finish, let's say if it was Archer, just finish the Archer exam. Now, you can do this on your own. You can keep doing it as many times as you want. The questions will randomize, mind you. The answers will not, as far as I know. But all you need to do is do your best, complete them, and eventually it won't take too long. You'll complete each of these exams that you do. If you want to look at the answers online, of course you can do that. There is nothing stopping you, but you can do these on your own, even if it's just a bit of guesswork. So however you want to do it, do what you please. But that's what you need to do for each of those challenges. And I can kind of show you that because this menu does visualize it. So when it comes to Archer, it says pass the Archer knowledge exam. Cook, pass the Cook knowledge exam. So it's the same for each of these. So all you need to do is just pass those knowledge exams. Pretty straightforward. But then you've got the other parts of the challenges, and I'll go through those now. Alrighty, so I'm going to go through all of the Tadpole challenges and explain why I completed the ones that I did, and also explain why I didn't complete the ones that are left incomplete here. Keep in mind as well, for a lot of these challenges, you will have to go to specific locations on the map. So if you are in doubt, if you want to do the Archer one, for example, and you need to find the Pioneer Scouts shooting test, just Google it. You can find it very easily, especially on the Fallout wiki. But I want to explain more so the ones that I believe you should be focusing on. So the Archer one, the reason why I didn't do Archer is because 1, I didn't have a crossbow, so I'd have to find a crossbow. 2, I didn't want to craft all of the crossbow bolts necessary, not just to do the challenge, like it's easy to craft 50, but also to be able to craft enough to kill 50 enemies. Like, unless you're an incredibly good shot, you're probably going to need to craft more than 50 crossbow bolts to be able to kill 50 enemies. For those of you that have tons of materials, probably no issue, right? But I'm more focusing on those players that probably don't have enough materials to be able to craft as many crossbow bolts as you need. But if you can, great. You're still going to have to kill 50 enemies. So I thought comparative to the other challenges, that was a bit more lengthy. Repairing a crossbow is pretty easy, right? As you're killing those enemies, all you need to do is go back to your camp and repair that crossbow and then go back and kill more, essentially. So that's not too hard, but these other two meant it was a bit more lengthy than the other challenges, so I didn't do archer. But of course, if you use crossbows, then feel free to do that. Maybe you've already completed the challenges anyway. So let's talk about the cook challenge really quickly. The reason why I didn't do this one is because I believe for most, if not all of these things that you need to cook for it, you need the recipes for. So not only if you don't have the recipes, do you need to find the recipes, you then need to cook all of those things, which means you need to get the ingredients for all of those things, all while doing that with a chef's hat. So you got to find the chef's hat, find the recipes, find the ingredients, and then cook the things. So especially if you don't have all of those or most of those, that can become quite time consuming. So for most players, I would say this is probably not the best choice, but if you have all the recipes and you have everything, cooking them is pretty simple, and especially if you have the chef's hat. So yeah, that's my opinion on that one. So let's talk about entomologists. This is one that I was very close to completing because a lot of them are just like take a picture of certain critters, like a tick and a stingwing and a rat scorpion. That's pretty easy to do, to be honest. So all you need to do is search online where you can find pretty much guaranteed spawns of these enemies, or just take photos of them as you're playing the game because they pop up pretty easily. But the one bit which, when I was just trying to grind this out, that you have to wait for the Path to Enlightenment event to spawn, essentially. And then when you do that, you need to acquire the Mothman wing. So I actually previously completed the event, but I didn't acquire the Mothman wing when I did it. So that meant I would have to wait until that event was on the map and then get the Mothman wing. I know that there are other ways to get the Mothman wing, but that's probably one of the easier ways to do it. And I just didn't want to wait for that event to spawn on the map. So that's why I didn't finish entomologist. So let's go to the next one. So now herpetologist. I think I pronounced that right. This is again a one that is pretty easy to do if you're a high level player. The reason why I say that is because a lot of the enemies that you need to take pictures of to complete this challenge are relatively high level, like Myla Queen, Myla King, even a Deathclaw that's there. If you are a lower level player, I suggest not doing this one because you have to get relatively close to these enemies to be able to take the picture to unlock them. So I suggest not doing this one. And again, to build a frog habitat, you need to have the plan to be able to do that. And with all these other things that I need to take a picture of, and I don't even think I have the plan for it, so I didn't bother with that. And again, the main thing is the harder level enemies, so that's why I didn't do it, and that's why for most players, you'll probably avoid this one. Alrighty, so Hunter. Hunter is not too bad because a lot of it is killing different enemies with different weapons. So for instance, kill a radstag with a black powder, kill a radstag with a crossbow, kill a radstag with a hunting rifle, etc, etc, etc. And also cooking a meal with a radstag, yaguai, or wolf meat. So that one's pretty easy to do. But the reason why I didn't want to do this again is because I didn't have a lot of these weapons. So that means you would have to go get the weapons, and for the guns, get the ammo for those weapons, and then find the enemies and kill them. So again, comparative to the ones that I completed, I thought that this was fairly lengthy, which is why I didn't decide to do it. But if you have most of these weapons and the ammo for them on hand, or if you can easily get them, because it's not hard to get a shotgun, it's not hard to get an automatic weapon, obviously, or a hunting rifle. Do that if you can. But again, that's why I didn't do it. Okay, Mammologist. Mammologist, even though I haven't finished this one, I would suggest you do it if you struggle with the challenges that I completed, because this is definitely one of the easier ones. All you need to do is take a bunch of pictures of different things. The hardest to do is a yaguai, but comparative to the other challenge, these are much easier creatures to take photos of. So a yaguai, a wolf, a squirrel, a radstag, rabbit, possum, fox, cat, and a Brahmin. Like, way easier than the other challenge. So if you're a newer player, if you're an early level player, definitely suggest doing Mammologist. And then the other things that you need to do on top of, passing the knowledge exam is to milk Brahmin. A great place to find Brahmin is Flatwoods, and someone online suggested Cow Lake as well, but I just went to Flatwoods a couple of times to get the 8 out of 10 that I did. But again, I did the other challenges first because for me they were easier. But if you are struggling to do those, the ones that I'll mention in a second, Momologist is a great challenge to do. So now for the ones that I haven't completed, we have Medic. Now Medic is definitely one of the harder ones because first up, you need to have the recipes for antibiotics, disease cures, and healing salves. You might if you have been playing the game for a while, but a lot of people out there probably don't. So not only do you need the recipes, you also need the ingredients to be able to craft 3 of each of those, right? So it's a little bit harder. Also as well, it's not these 2 using a stim pack or the diluted stim pack that are the hard ones. It's using a stim pack diffuser. That's absolutely one of the hardest things to do as part of this challenge. As I mentioned, I'm in forums all the time, and you won't believe the number of people that have asked who has stim pack diffusers that I can use to complete the Tadpole challenge. It's a lot of people. So they're not the easiest thing to come by. So I would absolutely suggest avoiding Medic as long as you can. If you have to do it for whatever reason, people online can help you, especially to get stim pack diffusers. Maybe even to get the recipes for these things here. You can go around to people's vendors and buy those recipes. You might get lucky. But again, one I would probably avoid. So now let's talk about the 3 that I actually completed. Now I've removed my camera so you can see each of the challenges under them. And again, I want to stress, these might not be the right ones for you, but I would suggest that for most players, they are, maybe aside from Athlete, because it requires certain special stats. If you can't do Athlete, definitely do Momologist, but let's talk about Athlete. The reason why I could do this one is because I had a strength stat of 5 and I had an agility stat of 5. So these 2 were done already. And I think a lot of players would have a high strength stat because it helps with your carry weight. And maybe a few of you out there would have an agility stat at 5. If you don't, again, do Momologist. That's totally fine. But if you have these, then all you need to do is complete the athletic course at Camp Venture, the athletic course at New River Gorge Bridge, and the athletic course at Sunny Top Ski Lanes. Only 6 things to do under this one, and 2 of them, again, a lot of you probably already have completed, and that's the special stat ones. If you don't, and you have a few level up spare, then yes, you can obviously shift your things around. I wouldn't suggest doing that if you are struggling, to level up and to also get some perk cards that you want to, because that will use a level up. So if you can't do this one, do Momologist, as I mentioned. But if you have these 2 stats, absolutely complete the rest of these courses, and then of course the knowledge exam. So now Codebreaker. I think Codebreaker again is one of the easier ones because I think most players would have their intelligence at least 3 to be able to hack into level 0, 1, 2, and 3 terminals. And also you would need the perk cards attached to that. If you don't, you might need to do another challenge. But to be honest with you, intelligence is an incredibly useful special attribute. So I'm going to assume that a lot of you out there at least have this at 3, even if it is just to get into level 3 terminals. So this is why I am suggesting Codebreaker to you now. And then all you need to do is hack into these different level terminals. And again, you can find these very easily by just searching online where to find a level 3 or level 2 terminal, etc. So those are those challenges. And then all you need to do is solve a nuke launch code sequence by launching a nuke. A lot of you out there have probably launched a nuke. This is one of the hard ones, I will admit, if you are very early on. So again, maybe look at those other challenges that I mentioned before. Maybe if you can do Athlete, then do Momologist and Swimmer, right? But if you can do a nuke, because a few of you out there could probably easily do a nuke, then get a big group together, especially if you're lower level, or if you're tanky enough, do it on your own, and just launch a nuke. Again, I think most of you have launched a nuke, so that's not too bad. But for you lower players out there, you might need some friends to be able to help you out. You can even get friends to carry you through a nuke silo and then get you through it so you can launch the nuke. Because look, you don't even have to kill most of the enemies along the way. All you need to do is launch the nuke yourself. So I think Codebreaker is absolutely one of the easier challenges to do. And then finally, you have Swimmer. Swimmer, I would say, is one of, if not the easiest. These 3 are just take pictures of things at the Wavy Willards water park, so that's pretty easy. Revive another player while in water. Again, get a friend to help you out with this. And then complete the swimming test at Spruce Knob Lake, which I think is pretty easy. You just got to go there and complete the test. If you need to know where Spruce Knob Lake is, God, that is a tongue twister. It is near Foundation right here. So all you need to do is to go there and complete that. And then the final one, I'm going to head all the way back, is, here we go, is obviously complete the knowledge exam. So again, that's another easy one. So before I move on to the Possum Badge challenges, I want to make one thing clear. You would have noticed that a lot of those tadpole challenges require you to take pictures. And I personally believe this is absolutely the easiest way to go about this quest line, because a lot of the other ones that I mentioned have what I believe to be harder challenges to do. So that means that you're going to need to get a ProSnap Deluxe camera, and some of you might not have that. I'm going to assume that a fair chunk of you do, but if you don't, you absolutely want to get one. It makes this quest line an absolute breeze, and it's way easier nowadays to be able to get a ProSnap Deluxe camera. Tongue twister. I've been talking a lot. So yes, if you don't have a camera, you will need to get a camera and also craft the film to be able to take the required pictures. But you need to do it. I think it's a fun feature to have in the game, just to be able to have a camera to snap photos. But two, you should have a camera. Like, as a baseline minimum to do these challenges, it's probably the easiest way to go about it, even though there might be some steps to get the camera in the first place. I will link a very useful link in the description for you to get that camera if you don't have it. But yes, you should get the camera. It's definitely the best way to go. And finally, I should add, once you've completed all those challenges, all you need to do as the final bit to get your backpack is to head back to Jaggy and turn in your quest. Not only will he give you other rewards and a backpack itself, but he'll give you the plans to be able to craft the backpack. And that's super, super important, because I believe the backpack that he gives you is only level 20. And of course you want the best possible backpack, which is level 50. So don't just use the backpack that he gives you, especially if it's underpowered. I don't think that he can actually give you a level 50 backpack. I could be wrong on that, but just double check. And if you don't have it, craft the level 50 backpack. It's 10 times better than any of the ones that are a lower level. So that is how you get a backpack in the game. But now, how do you get mods for that backpack? A lot of you probably do have the backpack, but you're wondering how do you get the mods, or you need some help to be able to get the mods faster. So again, we are still at the Pioneer Scout camp in 76. And what you want to do is head to this little machine here. Not this machine, because when you open up this machine, it will have slightly different things like a sleeping bag and a banner, etc. You want to head to this one, because this one will have a list of all of the mods and the plans for those backpack mods that you need. So I've gotten a few of them already. The ones that I don't have are like the insulated mod and the lead line and refrigerated and stuff like that. The ones that I have already gotten are the high capacity backpack mod, and also I think it's called armor lined, or the one that increases your damage resistance. So actually I can show you that. Armor plated. It's called armor plated. So what you need to do is to head to this machine and purchase the mod that you want. To be able to do so, you need a certain number of Possum Badges. For instance, the insulated mod, which increases your energy resistance, is 5 Possum Badges. So you might be wondering, how do I get Possum Badges? There are 2 ways to be able to go about getting Possum Badges. One of the ways, a lot of you probably know already, and that's going again to the challenges menu, going to world, and then you'll see a bunch of these possum challenges to do. Anytime you complete one of these possum challenges, you get a Possum Badge. And then obviously once you get enough, you can purchase the mod that you want. I am not going to go through all of these, because there's way more than the tadpole ones. And also as well, I'm going to show you a much easier method of getting Possum Badges. I will show you though the ones that I did complete, right? So those are the ones that are down here. I think these ones, at least for me, were the easiest, and I think for most players will be the easiest. I intentionally did these ones because I thought that they were the quickest for me to do. Alrighty, so here are the challenges that I've done. Now look, I'll be honest with you. These challenges are way harder than the tadpole challenges. I'm not gonna lie. Some of them will require a little bit of work, a little bit of time. Eventually though, you will get them done. Later, I'm gonna show you a way easier method of getting Possum Badges. Trust me on that, right? But at least these are the ones that I think are the easiest to do. And that's because I wanted to do the easier ones. And that's photographer, leatherworker, backpacker, atomics fan, and archaeologist. I would say that archaeologist is one of the easier ones because it's fairly easy to get a magnifying glass. It's easy to get bones while wearing a fedora. It's easy, relatively anyways, to find the treasure maps and to be able to find the treasure using those maps. You only need to do 5. And then cooking jerky, you don't need a recipe for that. Taking picture of fossils, visiting certain locations. I think that one's relatively easy comparative to the others. Atomics fan, I think this is one of the easiest ones because acquiring nuclear material is easy. Just do radiation rumble and loot the ghouls. Crafting mini nukes is easy. Killing enemies with a fat man is relatively easy. You just got to find the fat man. There is a guaranteed fat man weapon spawn. If I remember, I'll put that in the description below. Mod the fat man. Again, this works just with a skin if you have it, but if not, just go to a bunch of vendors in the game and get a mod. And then visiting a bunch of locations. Again, admittedly, some of these can be a little bit tricky, like modding a fat man, but comparative to the others are definitely easier. Backpacker, craft a backpack. You've done that already. If you did what I tell you. Boil water, relatively easy. Consume hot dogs. There are guaranteed spawns you could find. Just Google them. Pemmican, you can get this every time you do Operation Tidy. You get one of them. So in 3 days, you can get enough pemmican to consume. Consume s'mores. That's a bit tricky because you need to be able to either have someone craft them for you or have the recipe to craft them for you. But I still think this is one of the easier ones to do. And then building a campfire, a turret, a tent, etc. and then visiting those locations. I think backpacker is one of the easier ones to do. As with leatherworker, I'm going to assume that a lot of you have all the plans to be able to craft all the leather armor pieces. Especially, you know, some of the other challenges require you to do like robot armor, and I didn't have all the robot armor pieces. And metal armor, I certainly didn't have all the metal armor pieces to craft. So I think most of you will have the leather ones to do. And then you need to build a bearskin rug. You can get the plans at White Springs. Fertilizer producer. I'm not sure where to get the plans for those, but again, you can just Google it. Armor workbench, I'm assuming most of you have. Build taxidermy items. A lot of you that did Fashnot would have just got a bunch of mounted plans. Those count as taxidermy items. Mod your leather armor. I'll assume that a lot of you had mods for them. Scrapping hide. Pretty easy to do. Taking pictures. Again, and you can see how useful having a camera is now because it helps you with these plans, these challenges, especially the photographer possum challenge, which is mod a camera. Again, this works if you just have a skin for that camera. If you don't, then you need an actual modification and you'll be able to find guides for that online. Crafting camera film, easy to do, and then taking a bunch of these photos. Absolutely, I think these are the easiest ones to do. But if you don't want to do any of these challenges because you can't be bothered, here is the quicker method. Alrighty, so here is the second method of getting Possum Scout badges in 76. Now at the outset, I'll say, this is not the more guaranteed method of getting badges because when you do the Possum Scout challenges, you will absolutely get a badge at the completion of each of those challenges. That's guaranteed. This method involves stuff that is not so guaranteed, but I still do believe that aside, it's quicker and easier. So if you don't want to do any of the challenges, just do what I'm about to tell you, okay? So this method is threefold because there are 3 different quests that can give you Possum Scout badges in 76. And those 3 quests are Operation Tidy, Stings and Things, and Campfire Tales. At the completion of each of these quests, you have a chance to get a single Possum Scout badge. It's not guaranteed, but there is a chance. When I did in a single sitting, and you can see the footage of me doing this today, when I completed each of these 3 quests, I only got 1 Possum Scout badge when I did the 3 of them. So in the other 2, I didn't get a Possum Scout badge. To be honest, that's pretty good because these quests, as you would know, because you would have done Operation Tidy and Stings and Things and probably Campfire Tales, you'll know that these quests are way easier to complete than any of the Possum Scout challenges that I mentioned before, even the ones that I did, right? And on the screen, I'm showing you the location that you need to go and the conclusion of each of those quest lines. As you can see, when I did Stings and Things, I got a Possum Scout badge. And the beauty of this is that you can do these every single day. The Stings and Things and Operation Tidy quests are repeatable, so you can do those every day. Campfire Tales is something you can do every time it pops up on the map. So yes, you can world hop if you want to. The difference about Campfire Tales is that it only comes up at night. So what I would suggest doing is when you're in a server that's at nighttime, just wait to see if Campfire Tales pops up. If it gets to morning and it's not there, go to another server. And then you can keep doing that, keep doing Campfire Tales, and potentially get a Possum Scout badge. But the other ones I think are even easier. To do Operation Tidy and Stings and Things every single time that you play, or every day that you play, is very simple, and you have a good chance to get a Possum Scout badge at the end as part of the rewards. This has been a very long video for me to record. It's actually been an hour and a half, because there was a lot to cover and I wanted to make sure I got it right. So, whatever the length of this video is, I apologize. It could be very short, it could be very long, I don't know right now. But I appreciate you sticking around for this long. I hope this video helped you out. If it did, I would really appreciate a like and a subscribe. Let me know in the comments below if you have any issues. I'll be happy to try and help as many of you as possible. And until next time, this has been the Lone Bot Wanderer. Please take care of yourselves, and would you kindly keep fighting the good fight.